Tell me about how y'all met in that relationship and what you kind of learned from him, through working with him.
Man, the biggest thing I learned was, just take every opportunity like it's your, like it could be your last one. And because I didn't think I was going to meet him. I almost didn't do the session because I came up writing in LA and, everyone was like, every once a week you always get a call about detox or writing for Dre and doing all that stuff. And he became like a mythical creature at one point. I didn't think I was going to meet him or anything. I was like, yeah, he ain't going. He's probably, that ain't never happening,
Right.
So
no,
when I got
LA
the
is
call,
like that.
Dre's like, my manager was like, at the time, my manager was like, yo, come to the studio and, work on Dre's album. I'm like, sure, I'm working on my album, And they begged me to go. And then I went, begrudgingly, and I walked in. The first two people I see are Dre and DOC. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is really happening. And so I walk in and I go in the studio. I meet Dre. He's really cool. I go in the studio. I meet these two writers, Mez and JT, and they're working on a Dre album, and they loved my song Suede. I had a song called Suede at the time. Smooth in the mud, suede on the inside.
Them vocals?
Yeah, you feel me? I'm still waiting on that tequila, but I don't. So I walk in, everybody going crazy. I got a little hot song at the time, and it was this before like I had anything on like Spotify really or anything like that. I mean, I had one project, but that song was really bubbling like within like Bandcamp and the SoundCloud world and all this stuff with my boy Knowledge, and we had a group called No Worries, and that song was going around, and those writers loved it, and they played it for Dre, and Dre played it like 3 times in a row, and after that he just kept inviting me to the studio, and then all of a sudden he dropped an album, and I was all over it. And
I mean, that Compton album was huge, and I think obviously people were loving you before then, but this was like a huge moment. How did your career, you feel, change after that? How soon did you see?
I started getting a lot of family members I didn't know and never heard of, and getting different calls.
Come on, family out the woodwork.
We miss you. We need, a lot of Apple Pay requests and stuff like that, Venmos and stuff.
Come on.
And I changed my number with the quickness, and I got a few things, TSA pre-check,
Okay.
I wasn't playing around now. I'm stepping things up. I got my first, foreign.
Hey.
I was dipping in the Beamer at the time, the one with the doors go up. I had to do that. I had to do that on him. And then, I was just like, Mama, where you want to live, Hopefully somewhere cheap. And she said Atlanta. I was like, thank God.
Cheap. No.
Yeah, go get to it.
Atlanta,
at the time, this 20, yeah, we can go crazy.
Woo.
Go ahead, get 2 of them things. Yeah, and it was just like everything was like moving fast. And what the crazy part is, Dre put out an album, and no one thought he was gonna put out an album. And he actually put it out, and then had me all over it, and it was a surprise album. And then everyone was like, "What you gonna do now?" And so I had to do something. My next move had to be the best move.
Okay.
And I was working on my project at the time, so now everybody was coming and wanted to work, so it was cool. I had a little more leverage, and I could put together. I was already putting together a project, but I could finish it now, and with the people that I really wanted to do songs with, like Ninth Wonder and Madlib and High Tech, and getting some cool features like from Schoolboy Q and everybody that was a part of that Malibu album. It was like very pivotal for us, and I wasn't signed. Dre hadn't signed me yet. And so everybody wanted to sign me all of a sudden. I couldn't buy a deal before that. And then everyone was like, let's talk.
Isn't it so funny how the industry does like that? Sometimes they just don't know until somebody tells them that it's something. And I hate that about it. You know what I mean? But it is dope when you can find a collaborative partner that you rock with and you can just stick with that.
You got to stick with it. As an artist, you just got to trust your gut, And like all those people, like everyone swears they know, they don't know. And the only one that knows really is you as the artist, That's why you can't let anybody, deter your focus. And so I was glad that I was able to finish that and then eventually sign to Dre. Like, if I'm signed with anybody, it's going to be with the big homie. And it was a whirlwind. I was doing tours all over the world. And that was the first time I got to see, like, after that, people were like waiting out big lines for the shows, and we're going overseas, and we had a tour bus,
the experience.
Yeah.